Hello friends and family and newcomers of YouTube. You know where I'm at, in the basement. So you know it's another ghost time, story time with your girl Teri. Today's story is going to be about a time when my son came to me. And this was many years ago. He was in a younger grade. And he had told me that his teacher had taught him a new program that day, because that's something I always do with my children when they come home from school or work. I always talk to them and ask them, how was your day? And then depending on what they say, we usually go up from there. Go off of it from there, I'm sorry. So, bring him back to my son Jacob. He tells me,
Mom, Mr. Spicer taught me a new game today. It's called Redfish.
and I said, buddy, what is redfish? And he explains to me that it's just a mathematical game. And it's a place where they can learn and all that. And mind you, he's in tech class while this is happening, so I didn't think nothing wrong with it. And I do believe that was a Wednesday. I'm sorry, that was a Thursday. Because the next day really blew my mind. I go into school, drop off my son, and all the teachers are talking. So I go up to the counselor, and I said to her, what's going on? And she was like,
You didn't hear? Mr. Spicer is dead.
and I'm like, he's dead?
She's like, yeah. He didn't show up to work yesterday. Here, we called family. They found him today. He's dead. He had died Wednesday night.
Now, with that said, my son, I start to ask him, I'm like, but are you sure Mr. Spicer was in your class on that day? And he's
Like, yes.
And I'm like, well, tell me exactly what happened, without giving him any leadway. They didn't let the kids know yet that Mr. Spicer had passed, because they were young. The older kids didn't know, but the younger kids didn't quite know yet. And I sat him down and I'm like, but what exactly happened when Mr. Spicer told you about this redfish.com? Like, who was teaching? Was he your teacher? He says,
No, Mom, he wasn't my teacher. We had a substitute teacher that day.
automatically my stomach drops. And I'm like, okay. So I say to him, but how did he come into the room? Did anyone else talk to him? And he said,
No, Mom. He came in. He was standing at the doorway. He came in. I seen him. He came by. He stooped down next to him because they were at the tables. He squatted down.
and he,
Told them, shh.
because we're in tech class, so my son thinks nothing of this. And he shows him the site, and he spends a little bit of time with them before he leaves the room. And I'm like, who was your substitute teacher? And he was like,
This Russian guy. And, Mr. Spicer didn't want to interrupt his class, but he wanted to show me something to help me out with my schoolwork.
so I go back to pick him up, and I'm like, yeah, on Monday, this is now. And I'm asking the counselor, and I'm like, are you sure? Now, was there a substitute teacher on that day?
She said, yes, Mr. So-and-so.
And I'm like, well, is he like a foreign guy?
And she's like, yeah, he's a Russian guy.
And that's where I was just like, oh, okay.
And she's like, why do you ask?
I say, nothing. Don't worry about it. It was just something I had, I was inquisitive about, that I needed to know. So I left that be. We did go to his funeral to celebrate his life, because he was an amazing teacher. Everything he did for them kids was from the heart. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, he played too much, he did this and that. But I'll tell you one thing about this teacher. This teacher really cared about them kids. That's like what we need in our school system, because a lot of teachers don't care about the kids. And it's not that they don't care, it's that they're being told to rush through. Rush them through. And the kids that really don't know or aren't getting it are being left behind. And now they have that new No Children Left Behind rule. So now they're getting pushed forward and they don't know nothing. And it's unfortunate that we lose teachers like him. So with that said, I know that my son had seen a ghost that day. He also freaked out, and I'll say this for another story time, one of his classmates by saying something to him, and I'm going to skip over that. And the last thing I'm going to tell you about him, my son, is that one day when he was like, he had to be like, it was his third Christmas, or fourth, no, I'm sorry, it was his fourth Christmas. And he had no clue on what he was getting for Christmas from his papa in Florida. And the next thing you know, we're talking, and he goes silent, and he looks at the door, and he says,
My train.
and Dave and I look at each other and are like, what the fuck? There's no way he knows about that. And I'm like, well, maybe he's hearing the train, and we're talking low, mind you, so he can't hear us. And he's going on and on, mind you, while we're talking about this.
My train's here. My train's here.
And I'm like, maybe he's talking about the owl, that sometimes you can hear the owl off in a distance from where we had lived on Orange Street. Well, next thing you know, within 2 seconds of us saying that, boom, 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 on the door. We open the door, and it's a box, a big box. And Dave and I give each other that,
what the fuck look.
so you know me, I'm dying to open it because I want to know what the hell is inside this box now. So I'm like 7, but without the gore. So I go, and I tell Jacob, go upstairs, and he's like,
That's my train. Pop-Up sent me a train. I know he did. I know he did.
and now mind you, Pop-Up never told him that he was sending him anything like that. You know, he always sent gifts every year. That was a given. But nothing specific. So we get him upstairs, and now I'm with the box, and I'm cutting it. And I'm cutting it, and I'm like, oh shit. Tell me this is the friggin' train. If this is a train, I'm going to be like, be beside myself. So I open it up, and lo and behold, what is it? The train set. So then I knew right then and there that my son had some kind of gift. Some kind of like sight, he could see the dead. They always say that about young children, that they can see the dead, they can communicate because their minds are open, they're not closed off by, you know, as you grow, you start to be like, oh, that's not real, or you don't want to be in that stigmatism or that stereotype. So like then you start to lose it, and then it goes away because you're not open no more. So one more about my daughter before I end this one today. And with my daughter, she had to be 3 years old. 3. And we were walking, no, I'm lying. She was 2.5, almost 3. And I was walking her from my apartment on Frankfurt Ave around to my mother's house, who was babysitting her at the time. And as we're walking down Columbia Ave, we pass a funeral home, Burnsy's funeral home. And she says, she stops me. And I'll never forget this, because she looked up at me and she said,
Mom, we all been in there before.
and I'm like, no, because I will never take my little children. Now, if they can comprehend death, I will take them to a loved one's funeral, you know, if they're of a certain age, but definitely not at 2.5. She said,
We all were in there.
and I'm like, baby, we were never in there. What were we doing in there? Her next statement floors me. She said,
Uncle Billy was sleeping. I already gave up his name, so I'm going to say, Uncle Billy was sleeping. And everybody was sitting around crying.
which took me back because it's a funeral parlor. To her, Uncle Billy would be sleeping, not dead, because she still didn't have concept of death like that. And everyone crying, of course. We would miss my brother. Like, he's a very outgoing person. When you get to know him, he's straight legit. He's a cool person. And everybody loves to chop it up with him because he's just straight funny. Unless he drinks too much and then he, you know, gets his Irish accent and it's like, all right, Bill, time to go home. Much love for you though, bro. You know this. So, fast forward 1.5 years. Now, mind you, I told you I left, not even 1 year, it was 1.5 years. I left my ex, I told you this, and I moved into that house on Dolphin Street. I get this feeling in my stomach, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna, after I put Tila up in the room for bed, I just went downstairs and I was chilling on a couch, watching some TV, just like hoping maybe I could fall asleep there because, you know, I had such a busy day at work and all that good stuff. And the next thing, my brother comes in with his girlfriend, and they're slurring and they're not acting right, and the next thing you know, I hear boom. So my eyes pop open, and I look down and I see my brother on the ground, foaming from the mouth. He was convulsing. He was foaming. I immediately, because I'm being in the medical field for all these years, at that time I was only in the medical field for a few years, I jumped and immediately put him on his side. And when I put him on his side, I was trying to get him to talk to me, but all he was doing was making these gurgling sounds. And his girlfriend at the time, who was not good for him, but you know, I do have love for her because she had a horrible past, and I don't judge. But at this moment, I was really pissed off. I snatched her as I had my brother on the ground, and I brought her by her hair all the way down to our level, and I said, "You fucking bitch, what did you take? What is he on?" And she was stuttering, and she couldn't get it out, and I'm like, "You need to fucking tell me. This is a fucking matter of life and death. If you do not tell me, you kill my brother, you might as well mark yourself dead." And she said,
He took 16 Xanax.
now I know that's not all he took. I know he took more than that. Because when he took 16 Xanax, he went and flipped his moped into someone, like literally hit a car that was parked, and it flipped and went into someone's window, back window, which thank God we knew the person, and he knew the person, and he could work that out. But that's what I'm saying, like, he was like that bad, and she was never honest with about what he took. So when I went to kick her ass after that, it was just a natural instinct to want to protect my brother. So immediately I yell for my mom. I'm like, "I need assistance. This girl's no help." I'm trying to clear his mouth with, you know, with my hand, mind you, just to get the foam out. And I know they say don't do that, but this is my brother, and I'm not. Like, if I have to, I will go against everything I know is right, and I will dead pop a hole in your throat. I know it's illegal, but to save anybody's life, I'm willing to take that chance, especially someone I love. Not no stranger, but my children and my family, I will pretend that I am a surgeon for the day. Like, I will legit do that to save their life. Now, with that said, we took him and got him onto the ambulance, and he left. And after that, I didn't have no worries. But maybe a few years ago, about 4 years ago, and I don't really want to throw him under the bus, that he started to fuck up again. He started passing out again while he was cooking food. So as soon as I caught wind of this, I literally had to talk to him, talk to the person who was renting him the place, because it was a family friend, someone we grew up with, and I had to let them know that he was a detriment to himself. And I'm sorry, brother, that I did that to you, but I had to. Now, with that said, he's alive, and thank God. But it scares me because children really don't know things like that. And to have them spring stuff like that onto you is scary. It's not scary like as you would think scary would be. It's just scary because you know what they're going to go through in life. You know, by telling people things, by saying things that just come to their mind. They don't mean to say it out loud. Case in point, my one friend, she was stressing, and I wasn't on Facebook or nothing like that, but she was really stressing. And she comes to my house and she's like,
I need you to go to the bar with me.
and now mind you, I'm not a big drinker. I like to drink, but I prefer not to. If I go to the bar, I like to have a couple. And if I have too many, I become a messy drunk, and that's what I try to avoid. So I know my limit. And so with her stressing and me seeing that, and I really didn't want to go, I'm sorry, I just was looking at myself and not the camera. Okay, back to where I need to be. Okay. So with that being said, I went to the bar with her anyway, because that's the friend I am. If I see you stressing, I'm going to try. Even though I'm not feeling my best, I'm going to try to be there for you. And I get to the bar and we're sitting there, and not even 10 minutes into our conversation, I started to get a mail.
Tell her. Tell her about.
And I'm not going to go into, because in case somebody watches this and she doesn't want them to know, I'm just going to say,
Tell them about Jay. Tell them about Jay. Tell them about Jay.
and I'm hearing that and I'm trying to listen to her talk. Now, mind you, I don't know if you ever had like 2 or 3 people talking to you at once. One you're really trying to focus on, someone off to the side, and then like other like background noises all at once. Now, mind you, I'm hearing this and I'm like this on her. And I know I'm making funny faces because I don't know what the hell is going on. I don't know why I was brought there, but I know it was for a reason. So I don't say nothing to her because I don't want to upset her. I wait until the next morning. I go over her house and I said, look, when we were at the bar last night, the reason why I really wasn't paying that much attention to you while I was looking at you and talking to you is because I kept on hearing this guy's voice, and that caught her attention. And she said,
That really? What did it say?
and I said, he said,
Tell her about Jay.
now she turned white, and now she's the type of person that she gets real pink in the face. Like she always has like a pretty, like, she's white, pale skin, but she gets like this pretty blushy, natural blush to herself. And there's a name to that and I can't quite think of it, and she's probably going to text me or something and be like, girl, you know the name of it. It's like an Asian blushing syndrome. When you drink, you blush, and that's what happens. So, but she wasn't drinking. She just blushed and then got real nervous looking. And she was like, you haven't been on Facebook. And I'm like, no, I haven't. What's up? Tell me what was going on. And she went,
The reason why I wanted you to go to the bar with me yesterday, or actually last night, was because I went onto Facebook and someone posted a picture of me and my ex and Jay. And it hurt me so bad because I missed my ex-boyfriend, because of how she had lost him.
and she wanted to have someone to talk to about it with. And I don't know what she thought I was going to be able to tell her, because I was getting bombarded from a guy
Tell me. Let her know about Jay.
So I explained that to her, and she says,
Girl, that's all I needed to hear.
and she wept a little bit, and we talked, and like I said, she's like one of my straightest girls. Like, I know she always means well. Even when the time when she invited me up to a party and had Ashes there, I understand when people lose people, they want to get in contact with them so bad. But I'm not a psychic. This stuff just happens. It's not like like how you watch on TV, you see that Long Island medium, you see a lot of them that are like, hold up, I know this, that, the other. They just know so much. And it happens like that for them. Me, it's random. Yes, it has been increasing over the past like 8 years since I've been meditating. But that's me opening my third eye and, putting that positivity and connecting with the energy of the universe. And all yous got girls and guys that meditate out there, yous know exactly what I mean by connecting as one with the energy in the universe. So now with that said, I hope you enjoyed this week's little mini ghost stories. I am going to catch yous up on what happened last week, but I just need some time to gather myself because something else had happened. Now, with that said, guys, don't forget, stay on your grind. Stay peaced up. Stay blessed up. Much love for you. Without you, I wouldn't be doing these videos. I would have gave up a long time ago after the first couple, and I had my couple people that jumped on, and I'm like, okay, I got like 40 people, I'm Gucci. I already made my quota on my bucket list. So I felt good about that. And by y'all continuing to show me support and love and liking these stories, and bear with me because I'm just starting these edits. Like I said, it could only get better from here and go up. And if not, then at least I tried and I did my best. And I actually enjoyed doing it. So again, much, much love, much respect. I will be on your channel today, even though I had a setback. I will be making my rounds. Much love, much peace. I'm out.